Okay. Hey, 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 beautiful ladies. How is everybody doing on this Saturday morning? I am super excited that you are here for Social Saturday. Today we have the beautiful Miss Erica Lawrence. Let me just read you a little bit about her bio because I know that many of you can possibly relate to her. And then I'm going to share a little bit about how I actually personally met her as well. So, Miss Erica, that we have here today, Miss Erica Lawrence, she has a degree in health education that she never used. How many of y'all can relate to that story? Certification sitting in a drawer, and a voice that she kept quiet for years because she was terrified of being judged when she spoke. 2 days ago, she facilitated her first workshop in Mexico. She did it afraid, but she still did it. She is a courage coach and the founder of Erica Lawrence Coaching. Her method is called Stop Hiding, Start Living. I love that. She works with women who are done letting fear of judgment make their decisions and are ready to take action even when fear is present. She is not here to tell you the fear will go away. She is here to show you it does not have to stop you. Miss Erica, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm super excited to have you here on the show. One is I really feel that a lot of ladies can relate to you here inside of this group and those that are listening. And because I personally know you, Miss Erica, so I'm super excited to have you. For those who don't know, very quickly, I just want to let you know how I did meet Erica. I met Erica at one of my retreats. I do host women empowerment retreats called the Relax, Reset, Renew Retreat. And she joined me at the Bali retreat. She came in, she was very quiet. I remember you came in very quiet, she's very observant. I did remember that. But I also remember that when Erica spoke, she had something profound to say. And I will also say that I witnessed her talk to other ladies in the group and really touch them, really relate to them, and really help them out. So I am excited to have her talk to the group. So again, Erica, thank you so much for coming today and talk to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, yes, yes. So tell me a little bit about this degree that you had that you never used.
So I always knew that I wanted to be in the wellness industry. I'd
Mhm.
gone to school for it, but something always kept me out of it. And as I got older, I realized that I had this big fear of being visible, of speaking
Mhm.
in front of people. And it wasn't because I didn't have anything to say or I didn't feel confident in what I was going to say. It was more
Mhm.
because I didn't want people staring at me. And so that fear of standing in the front of the room kept me from pursuing that career path. So
Mhm.
that degree ended up sitting in a drawer. A few years later, I went on to get my certification as a wellness coach. And
Nice.
again, that degree got put right in a drawer because I had that fear. What's going
Mhm.
to happen if I'm standing up in front of a group of people? And
Mhm.
before I even open my mouth, they get to look at me and decide if I'm good enough.
Yeah.
And so that fear was so great for me that I decided to choose another path.
Mhm. Mhm. And what path did you end up going into?
So I was in the construction industry as a
Mhm.
project manager for a little over 20 years.
Yeah.
And I was very good at my job. I proved my
Mhm.
worth. Um, the thing that made me so successful in that role, though, is
Mhm.
because I could hide behind my desk. I could close my
Mhm.
door. I could be on a Zoom meeting and not have to present in a boardroom.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
all those things fit my fear and I
Mhm.
made it be enough for my life. And so all of those years staying in a career that wasn't my purpose and I knew it
Yeah.
wasn't, and it cost me a lot of happiness in my life. And
Mhm.
so finally, here I am doing things afraid because I don't want to feel that way anymore.
Yes, I love that. I love that. When do you feel that moment happened for you? When you're like, I am done. I don't want to be afraid anymore. I am ready to put myself out here and to use these talents and this gift that I have. What was that turning point for you?
So I think it was gradual. There were a few things that
Mhm.
happened. The last boss that I had was such a great mentor and provided a lot of guidance and really supported me in the efforts I was making to make this transition. So that was part of it, just feeling like I had a safe support system.
Mm-hmm.
The other part of it was exploring what options were out there in the wellness industry for me. And I had attended a retreat in Vietnam last year, the
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate Girls Week Away retreat. And that kind of opened the doors for me. It was the catalyst that made me feel like I could be in a room with
Mm-hmm.
powerful women and see their vulnerability. And it gave me permission to feel the same way. And
Mm-hmm.
so I then started feeling like I can be vulnerable. I can do things afraid, and people are going to still respect me. It's not going to be a weakness. And so that UGWA retreat was really like the gateway to get me to where I am today.
Oh, I love that. And I remember actually you were going to that retreat after you left the Bali retreat, correct?
Yes,
You were
yes.
just opening up yourself for everything at that time, weren't you?
I called it my year of education last year,
Uh-huh.
where I was checking out the retreat scene, seeing if that was something I wanted to incorporate into my own business. I
Yeah.
was learning, I was doing all the personal growth work and the inner work and trying to get my emotions in check and just figure out, where my skeletons in my closet were and how I could move past them. And so last year was that big year of education for me. But it
Mm-hmm.
also became a year of procrastination because I'm that life student that's like, oh, I need to learn more. I need to learn more. I need to do more. I need to be better. I need to, not have any fears before I can start. And
Mm-hmm.
so that procrastination kept me from doing anything. And so finally, I thought to myself, I've just got to go for it. I've got to just
Mm-hmm.
take the first step. That's all it is, the first step. And once I do that, then I can progress forward. But if you don't ever take the first step, you just stay in that same place. And so I stopped procrastinating, and now here I am moving forward.
I love it. And not only are you moving forward, but you're also out here helping others as well, doing what you do as a confidence coach and helping other people. So I really do love that. So you went from going to school to be in the medical field. You got your degrees from that, but I was afraid. I had these fears of standing up in front of others, being judged, people looking at me, things like that. So I did not do that. I ended up having another job for 20 years that I just hid behind a desk, but I was successful at it. I did the job. I was really good at that, but it wasn't like your purpose. It wasn't, there was something that was inside of you that was kind of pulling at you. Would you say that kind of was like, I got to do something different, right? And then you do your year of getting it together for you, and then you go to these retreats and you're stepping outside of your comfort zone and you're doing all of these amazing things, and now you're out here helping other women, and you just went to Mexico, is that correct?
Yes, I sure did.
So tell me a little bit about this workshop that you did in Mexico.
So it was my first time facilitating my workshop in person in Mexico, and it's based on doing things afraid. So the entire
Mhm.
workshop, we go into looking at the three layers of fear. So we look at the situation, which is where
Mhm.
your fear becomes present. So, for an example, for me, it would be I have a fear of judgment when I speak in public. So that
Mhm.
situation for me is when I speak in public. And, we have all kinds of fears. Like, it could go on fear of not being good enough and being judged and failing and abandonment. But this specific workshop dealt with fear of judgment. And
Mhm.
so that
Mhm.
situation is where the fear is present, where it exists, and then
Right.
the meaning. So what does it mean if I'm, speaking in public? What is going to happen? I'm, maybe they're going to find out I'm a fraud and I'm not good
Mhm.
enough. And then the consequence would be, well, everyone's going to reject me. So
Mhm.
those three layers we look at as part of the workshop, and then we go into looking at what it's costing you to have
Mhm.
these fears. And so, what is that taking away from your life? And so, we go through some of that work and we look at how we can take a step forward and do something afraid to start giving ourselves evidence that we do have the courage to move forward.
Mhm. Mhm. And when you were at this workshop, did you hear from the other ladies? I'm sure, because at retreats, people do open up and they share their stories. Did you feel that that was a common denominator across the board, that some ladies were feeling that fear of being judged from other people, or what other people would say about them, or are they good enough? What are some of the fears that you heard some of the other ladies might have, the topics? Was it some of the same things?
Absolutely. The fear
Mhm.
of being visible probably was the number one thing,
Mhm.
and it comes in different forms. Some women don't want to be visible on social media. They're
Yeah.
afraid to post things online. Some it's in person. Some women are fearful of judgment when they charge what they're worth in their
Yeah.
business. And then, there was several other things, but the visibility thing was probably the biggest thing. And fear of judgment for body image could be a thing.
Mm.
That's something for me, because as much as I am having this fear of public speaking, it's not because I'm afraid to speak. I have
Mhm.
an opinion on everything.
Yeah.
I can tell you so. What I'm afraid of is having people look at me. And it's
Uh-huh.
because I've had this weight issue throughout my life. And so, because of that, it's led into this fear of judgment and how people look at me and they make a decision. Am I good enough, just by first glance before I even
Mhm.
open my mouth? And so, fear of judgment comes in so many different forms. And I think being visible is at the top of the list for most of the women that I work with.
Absolutely. And you just hit the nail on the head, because my next question I was going to ask is, where do you feel these fears come from? And so you hit, for personally, that's what it came from, is the fear of like the body image and them actually seeing the body, not necessarily what you were saying out of your mouth. But where do you think some of these other fears might come from others that are afraid of being seen, or being in that boardroom, or just being, just standing up and holding that space for women? Especially, I see that that can be a struggle. And I've seen it, in just coaching myself over the years. Where do you see that comes from a lot of women?
So we do talk about that a bit in my workshop too. We do
Mhm.
something called fear mapping, where we kind of go back and we try to look at where the fear may have come from. So
Right.
for somebody, they might remember, like, when I was 8 years old, I raised my hand in class and I answered a question, and the whole class laughed at me. And I knew
Mm.
right then and there I needed to keep my mouth shut, because speaking
Mhm.
up meant people were going to think, I didn't know what I was talking about and I wasn't going to be smart enough. And
Mhm.
so a lot of women can remember a time in their life where they felt like they were silenced, or somebody made fun of them, or they got picked last to be on a team. And
Mhm.
so that fear started at a very young age, and it carried through adulthood for them. A lot
Mhm.
of women also, like myself, can't exactly pinpoint where that fear came from. It just kind of
Mm.
always existed for them, but they know that it's not just something new. It's something that
Mhm.
came, from when they were growing up. And so I think I get a balance of both sides of it, where some people can pinpoint the moment and some people
Mhm.
can't. But it usually has something to do with an event that happened in their life, where there was some kind of like trauma that it did to them that they buried. And
Mhm.
so, it's coming out and they don't know why it's coming out, but now that fear kind of just surrounds them.
Mhm, mhm. Yes, I do agree with that, and I love how you shared the fact that it could even be something that happened at 8 years old. I was 8 years old, I got up in front of the class, everybody laughed at me, and then I just continued. I didn't even think about it until I had to get into the boardroom, at 45 years old or 52 years old, and now here I am having the CEOs or everybody else looking at me, and now all these fears just come back up because I never thought about that. So I love that you pointed that out, because I remember I used to tell people, like, it doesn't always have to do with the past, before I started coaching and getting into all this. And then when I started healing myself and started learning, like, it was a lot of stuff that I just pushed down and pushed down, I said, well, maybe it is to do with the trauma or the things that we don't talk about, that we just continue going on. So I love that you pointed that out. What are some of the things that you would give women that are saying, almost maybe can definitely relate to you, that say that I am ready? I'm ready to step outside of my comfort zone. I'm ready to do something different. Whether it's travel, whether it's start a business, or whether it's help other women, which is what you're out here going to do. What are some tips or some ways that they could start if fear is holding them back? Can you give them one or two tips that they could start to getting them past that fear, to start doing the things they desire to do?
Sure. So I think the big one is finding some evidence that you're capable. And
Mm,
so I would encourage women to look at things that they've done in their life. Like,
mhm,
are you a parent? Did you raise a child? Because you know how much courage it will take to do that.
mhm,
Have you left a job? Have you applied for a promotion? Have you made a big career change in your life? There's so many things that we do as women that we don't think, oh, that took a lot of courage. You know, I'm
mhm,
brave for doing that. And we sell ourselves short. So I would
mhm,
encourage women to look for that evidence. Make a list of all those things that you've done in your life, no matter how small they are, because they add up. And all those little pieces are what builds the courage because you have proof now that you took all that action. And guess
mhm.
what? You're okay. You're still
Yeah.
here.
Mhm,
And so
mhm,
that's one thing that I would encourage women to do. The other thing is try to look at it from a different perspective. And
mhm,
so if you had a best friend, a daughter, a spouse, a loved one that was in your situation and was holding back from doing that thing that they wanted to do,
uh-huh.
what would you say to them? Would you encourage them to go for it? Or would you tell them, you're not good enough for this? Don't do it. Because
Mhm,
if you're telling them and giving them the support, you know, that they are capable, why wouldn't you give yourself that same love and support? And so when you look at it from that perspective and you try to practice what you preach,
mhm,
that can give fear less power over you. And so those two things for sure. And then the third thing I would say is think about what it's costing you in your life.
mhm,
What have
mhm,
you missed out on? What, not just what have you missed out on, but what are the other people in your life missing out on that you could be helping? That, you know, what if you're a role model for someone? What if you're a coach for someone? They're missing all the good stuff because you're
mhm,
afraid to take that step. And so there are so many reasons that fear of judgment costs us in our life. And so if you
mhm.
kind of just look at what you're giving up and what people are missing as a result of letting fear influence us, it might make it a little bit easier and give us a little bit more comfort in taking that
Mhm.
first step.
Mhm. I love those. Those are all so juicy. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing that with everybody. Number 1 was definitely fire. I really love that one. Definitely sitting back and just like you said, giving yourself some credit, looking to see what have I done, what have I overcome, what have I, is there any evidence that, whatever the case may be. Because I say that that's one of the biggest things that women, we're so hard on ourselves. We're very good to nitpick, but we don't really see how far we've come. And you hit the nail on the head with whether it's being a parent, starting a business, do whatever it is, those are strengths that you have to lean on. So I really love that number 1 that you had shared there. All of those were really good tips, but I really do appreciate that. So your program, or if anybody would like to work with you, how does that look? Tell me, how does it look to work with you? Do you do group coaching, one-on-one coaching? How does that look?
So I'm doing group coaching right now. I
Mhm.
have a Facebook group called Stop Hiding, Start Living, which
Yes.
anyone can join. Once you're in that group, and
Mhm.
if you're interested in doing more with me, then I can get you set up with some group coaching. I also have a paid membership that I'm starting. If you're interested in that, I'll be at the end of July doing my next online workshop. And so I'll have a link put out for that if anybody's interested in joining the online workshop.
Mhm.
I'll be facilitating in Greece at the end of October in person for my workshop. And so that's another option. But have people head to my Facebook group, Stop Hiding, Start Living. And from
Mhm.
there, it can get them to all the other avenues of how they can work with me.
Yes, and I love the name of the group, Stop Hiding, Start Living. I absolutely love that. And your workshop that you do online, is it a one-time workshop or is it a weekly workshop? Or tell us a little bit more about that.
So
The one
it's
that's online.
Yes, it's online. It's a one-time workshop. It's called Do It
Mhm.
Afraid, and there is going to be a series that will follow. But right now I have one workshop that I'm just opening that up to whoever's interested in it.
Uh-huh.
It's about a 90-minute workshop if anybody is
Mhm.
interested in joining it. And we'll do the work right there together online.
Yeah.
And the goal is to leave with an action item, a call to action that you assign
Mm.
to yourself, where you make that commitment to do the one thing afraid. And so we kind of work through, several steps to get you to that point where you're ready to make that commitment to do the thing
Mhm.
afraid. And then from there, if you're interested in, additional work and other workshops after that, then that is kind of the foundation, the Do It Afraid workshop.
I'm doing that. I love it. I love it. So I have a question for you. So it's popped in my head. That's how I am. I just kind of that's just how I roll. So what would you say the biggest change has been in yourself since you stopped hiding and started living?
So, it's interesting because you always think that you need to have some kind of courage and confidence before you take any action.
Mhm.
And the thing that I've noticed is as I've been doing all these things afraid, like this interview, for example, I was petrified because here I am visible to everyone right now.
Mhm.
But when this is over, I'm going to be dancing around my room like, guess who just did this? Guess who just did this interview?
Yes.
And so the same thing, facilitating in person in Mexico. It's
Mhm.
you do the thing afraid. And once you do the thing afraid, then the courage is built. And so
Mm.
that's what I've noticed. My courage is growing and getting stronger because I'm doing the things afraid first. And one other thing I would offer is sometimes it's nice to find a controlled environment to do things in, just to dip
Mhm.
your toes in the water so you don't feel like you're jumping in head first.
Yeah.
And so for me, one of the things I did because, this fear of public speaking, I joined Toastmasters.
Yes.
Toastmasters is a controlled environment. So you can stumble on your words, your mind can go blank, you might not know what to say, but you're in a safe space to do that. And the same thing goes with wellness retreats in general. Going on wellness retreats really is therapeutic and you get that safe space. And so sometimes it's just kind of finding that controlled environment that works for
Mhm.
you as your first step as, you build your foundation. And that has helped me tremendously.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So that's huge. It's like the more that you do the thing, it's almost sounding like you're getting comfortable with getting uncomfortable. I'm doing the thing afraid, and then my courage is growing every time I do it. I celebrate afterwards, and I'm still feeling the fear. There's actually a book, it's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyways. But it's like I'm feeling the fear, but I'm getting out here and I'm doing it anyways. And I love that you pointed that out to everyone. So I want everybody to listen to that. That's a huge thing is sometimes people feel that you have to be confident and then you'll do the thing. That's not how it typically works. You have to do the thing and then the confidence grows and you'll get out here and do it. So I love that you pointed that out. And Toastmasters, I always tell people all the time, they're like me. I see you talking all the time. When I started, I can relate to your story. I'm definitely a talker. I've always been a speaker, things like that. And I could always talk in front of an audience. I was kind of the opposite. I could speak in front of an audience, but when I would get on a microphone or something like this, because I couldn't see what the audience, their facial expression was, I would freak out. So I started off going to Toastmasters. So I always tell people all the time, I highly recommend them. So I'm so happy that you threw that in there. And I love how you say controlled environment, because that would help you not feel like you're just jumping off of the deep end there, that you're actually taking those steps to do that. So thank you so much for sharing that with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's community is a big thing too. Having a support system and feeling like there's other people going through what you're going through. And that's
Mm,
my whole effort behind Stop Hiding, Start Living is let's rise up together. Let's do this together. Let's do things afraid together. I'm not going to
mhm,
be over feared just because I'm on here doing one interview. I got 20 other fears waiting for me as soon as I hang up.
mhm.
But if I have a community and support and I can do things with other women, it just makes such a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. See, that's why I like her, ladies. I told you y'all were gonna love her. I just love it. That's what it's about. You're like, let's just do this together. We are gonna go through this ride. We're gonna do it together. You're not by yourself. We're gonna feel this fear, and we're gonna get out in a supportive, controlled environment in your group and things like that. So I absolutely love that you shared that. And one thing I always tell people, I'm like, new level, new devil. You know, just like you said, I'm done with this interview, but now I got 20 more interviews, or I got another workshop, or something else is coming up. But the confidence is growing and you're doing it. So I just want you to know that I am so proud of you, Erica. And just from when I met you the first time, and to see you blossoming and to stepping in your own, and not only that, pushing past those fears. And now, you know, I'm big on the ripple effect. I talk about that all the time. Now you're actually causing that ripple effect and you're pushing it off to other women and helping others. So I just want you to know that I am super proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mia. I really appreciate it. And I'm so grateful that, I was able to spend some time with you and reconnect on this interview, and hopefully other women will see it. And, if it inspires even one woman, then it was worth it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, is there anything that you would like to leave the audience with before we hop off of here? I'm definitely I want you to share, whether it's your email, your links. I'll put all of that in the show notes here. So everybody, if you're interested in her Facebook group or coaching with Erica, it will absolutely be here in the show notes. Like she said, she has a workshop coming up, and then she has something going on in Greece. So if you ladies want to go out to Greece, definitely reach out to her, and y'all can do that together in the sisterhood. So I'll leave all that down below. But is there anything else that you would like to leave with these ladies before we hop off?
Just don't let fear influence your decisions. If that's happening in your life, find a way around it. Life's too short. And I feel like we're here in this moment right now for a reason. And if you are too afraid to explore, what that reason is, then you're missing out on your life. You're missing out on your happiness. The people around you are missing out on the best parts of you. And so I just would encourage everyone just to do things afraid. And the more you do it, the easier it's going to get.
Absolutely. I love that. And encourage everyone to stop hiding and start living. I just love it. I love it. Well, again, Erica, I could talk to you all day because, just like I said, I truly appreciate your energy. I appreciate what you're doing. And I love, I'm all about positivity. I love to be around positive people. And I love that you're putting it out here to others. So I really do appreciate you coming on to the show and definitely being able to share your energy, share your story, because I know that there's going to be ladies in here that's going to relate to, I had the fear. I did a job for so many years that was not my thing, but now I am ready to do it. And now they have somebody like you that they could reach out to, and a community like yours that they could reach out to and feel this fear and do it anyway. So again, thank you so much, Erica, for being on the show.
Yes, thank you, Mia.
Absolutely. You're welcome. And beautiful ladies, thank you so much for watching Social Saturday. Again, I am going to leave all of Erica's information down in the show notes. She is absolutely amazing. Again, I have personally met her. I've been grateful to be around her and her energy. And I wouldn't recommend to anybody that I do not believe in. And I truly believe in Erica, her message, and what she's putting out here. So please reach out to her. Again, thank you so much for watching Social Saturday, and we will see you on the next episode. Everybody have a great day. Peace.